Internet. And welcome to episode 259er of Verbal Graffiti with your host, Brian Glass, a.k.a. the B-Man, the People's Degenerate. I'm here. I'm right here. I'm always going to be here till my last breath. But I'm putting myself on the internet. I'm putting myself out there on the streets. I'm putting myself on stage, in front of the mic, in front of the audiences, which aren't that large. I'll admit, hardly any audiences at all, usually fewer than 100 people. But I'm out there, the B-Man. I'm putting in the work. I'm putting in the hours. And all I hear about is the speculations, these accusations, these tales, these exposés, these story times of all these babes who all they get with are losers and deadbeats and unemployed people with barely any hygiene. And all I hear about is babes are cheating on their loved ones, on their spouse or their boyfriend or their boy toy, and they're getting side pieces, but they're not. Their side piece isn't up. There's not upward trajectory. It's always down. It's always some loser who gets up at 11 a.m. She has to cook for him because he doesn't know how to cook for himself. She does his laundry for him because he smells and he wears the same T-shirt every day. He maybe the best of these Johns has a part-time job. Always shows up late, and she has to drive him to work because he doesn't have a car. These are the guys, the Johns, that the babes here in the world, in the West, I can't speak for the East and I can't speak for the other hemisphere, but here in the West, here in America, and I hear tales about over there in Europe, about these hot babes who are stepping out on their perfect man. The guy who has a full-time job, supports the family. They go on vacation. He opens the door. He says, I love you. And he means it. He really means it when he says, I love you. He looks in her eyes. He wants to make love to her. He wants to shower her with affection and presence and diamonds and gold. And she'll accept it all. When he's away at work, though, when he's away making money, when he's away at the gym, when he is away, she steps aside. She steps out of pocket into the arms of a loser, of a guy who's got nothing going for him, 30 years old. Never was able to hold a job longer than 18 months. Never gotten past entry-level employee. Smokes weed, drinks a little too much, does edibles, can talk about drugs, plays video games, can talk about every game that's ever been made for PlayStation 2. He's a bum. He's a nobody. He's a never was. And that's who she's getting with. That's who all these babes are getting with, allegedly. And here I am, saying I'm here. I'm a loser. The B-Man. I'm a loser. My job, it's a dead-end job. It's a full-time job, but it is a dead-end job. I live with my mom. I sleep on a mattress that's on the floor. I have a podcast that gets no views. I've been doing stand-up over a decade, and it hasn't gotten me anywhere, although I am funny. And I could compose a sentence if given the time, especially via text. I really don't know how to cook. My mom still does my laundry. I live with my mom. I drive my deceased father's car. I don't have a car. I've never owned a car. I've never owned a couch. I've never had a real portfolio. And I'm not asking for love. All I'm asking for are all I'm putting out there in the world. All the effort I'm putting out there into the world as a loser is to be the side piece, to be the one that babe cheats on her partner with. All right, I'll keep my mouth shut. Of course, I'm going to talk about you here at Verbal Graffiti, but I won't say your name. I'll make it vague enough where your husband or your boyfriend won't find out about it. And let's be honest, hardly anybody watches Verbal Graffiti anyway. So even if I were to blast off your full name and your social security number, no one's going to find out about it. But I'm putting in the work. I'm a loser. I'm a cheese doodle. I've my hands raised. All I hear about is babes fucking losers. Guys that are beneath them, that they shouldn't even acknowledge, yet they'll break up their relationship to get with that guy. Well, I'm here. And none of these babes are fucking this loser. What else do I have to do? I sleep on a queen-size mattress that is over 20 years old. It's on the floor. What else do I have to do to prove that I am a loser to you babes out there? Like literally, I'd have to live in a tent. And honestly, I might do so. But I don't know where you get a tent. And also, actually, I like indoor plumbing, so I'm not going to do that. I'm just out there. Like, I'm putting my stink, my non-riz, right? My non-vibe, I'm putting it out there. And none of these babes are taking it. So when everyone on the internet is alleging that every babe is fucking losers, that might be propaganda. Because there is no loser that's losing more than me. And I ain't getting any of the fucking. I ain't getting any of the sniz. It kind of occurred to me. Standards are ruining my life. If not for standards, I'd have the ability to get with a fatty. I wish I had the ability to get with a fatty. I don't, because I have standards. And I wish I could do anything to rid myself of those standards that I have. And yes, I'll admit there are times where I've gotten with the fatties. I've gotten with the threes and the fours, but it was always because of alcohol or being inebriated in some way or fashion. If not, well, honestly, if it wasn't for alcohol, I'd probably still be a virgin. So I'm not going to bemoan what alcohol has made me do. In a state of sobriety, when I have no substances or alcohol in me, I've never fucked a fatty. I've never fucked a babe with a big ol' cyst or boil or just thing that's like sticking out of her forehead or a blob. Or just a girl with a hunchback, a babe with a hunchback. I'd fuck a girl in a wheelchair if she was hot. You don't even have to be hot. When I'm not average, I'll take it. Well, I'm talking about subpar, morbidly obese. Just face that makes you gag, and not in a good way. It's just the mere presence of the babe makes you feel uncomfortable because that's how offensive looking she is. My standards prevent me from fucking her. And that's making my life worse. That bothers me. I can't rid myself of these standards. There was a very distinct memory I had. Sophomore year of college, me and my roommate Dave, there was a guy down the hallway. We were friends with both of them. Two guys lived together. And one of them, he would pull occasionally. His roommate, tall guy, DJ, he fucked every night, but he would fuck the ugliest girls on campus. And his roommate, yeah, he came to our room. He was a bitch about my roommate. He's fucking everybody, but these girls are so ugly. Like, can you understand? Like, can you believe that he doesn't have standards? Like, who doesn't have standards? And it's the first time it hit me. Go, oh wow, there are guys out there that will fuck anything. I'm not one of them. I'm not one of them. I'm not among that group. Hand up, though, they're having more fun than me. The Johns out there who will fuck anybody, they're having more fun than me. They're having more fun than you. It's not me. It's not my lifestyle. And it ain't all about looks. If you have a great giggle, and a cute face, and a personality that's at least not grating, I'll hold your hand in public. I'll dance with you. I'll have a dalliance with you. I don't need a stunner. I don't need an 8, 9, 10, 6, 7. I'll take a 4 or a 5. I won't bring you out in public, but I'll pipe you. But my standards are they're getting in the way. I had a friend, Matt. Now I won't call him a friend. He's a comedian. He told me he had a threesome a few weeks ago. I was like, oh, that's cool. But then we were at a dive bar, and he pointed to the 2 babes he had a threesome with. And I'm sorry, I don't consider that a threesome. He might, but these 2 cheese doodles, they cancel each other out to the point where you might as well just masturbate, because those babes, what did they look like? Yeah, they got chips. They 2 just 2 chocolate chip cookies. You want to eat a chocolate chip cookie, but you don't want to fuck a chocolate chip cookie. And he fucked 2 of them. So when you come at me and you say you had a threesome, but the 2 babes you had a threesome with are so atrocious looking that I compare you to a chocolate chip cookie, by the letter of the law, you had a threesome. I'm not gonna give you a tip on my penis for having that threesome, though. If anything, I'm gonna run away and put a condom on my penis, which I don't like doing, because I don't want any fluids that might have been on you in the last 48 hours. I don't want them to accidentally slip off me or slip off of you and get onto me, because not all STDs are equal. We know this. They don't tell you this in health class. If you get an STD from an ugly babe, it hurts way more than if you get that STD from a hot babe. Not all STDs are equal. HIV, AIDS, if the babe is hot enough, what can you do? I got HIV. It was worth it. Yeah, but you get chlamydia, an STD that you can get rid of. You contract that from the marshmallow with the bowl haircut, whose breath smells like tequila at 3 in the afternoon. You get chlamydia from her? That'll put you in rehab. They ain't the same. They ain't the same. I don't know why he did this, but Mr. DeLucia, health class, 6th grade. So how old are you in 6th grade? 12? 13? Yeah, puberty. You're going through it. We have health class. It's our first real health class. Maybe not the first class, but the first time we actually had a semester of health class. And Mr. DeLucia, who was a gym teacher and also a health teacher, he was talking, well, who was he talking about? He was talking about that babe that was on Melrose Place, which was a popular show at the time. This was like the late 90s. And he said that if she had HIV, would I have unprotected sex with her? I don't know. But he talked this out to us, the students, in class. That he was standing up, mentioning the blonde girl. What was her name? I don't remember her name. But he goes, our teacher, Mr. DeLucia, he goes, if she had HIV, would I still have unprotected sex with her? and risk getting HIV? And he said that to a classroom of 13-year-olds, 12-year-olds. And this was a boys and girls in the class, not just the boys, which was a wild, a wild would you type question. How he kept his job, I don't know. His wife was a kindergarten teacher, lovely lady. Had her as one of my 3 years of kindergarten as a teacher. But that's how powerful attractiveness is. Like, if you're hot enough and you tell me you have HIV, I might pipe you without a condom. Especially if I've had 3 drinks in me, absolutely. Absolutely I would. I will. But if you look like a marshmallow, you can tell me you're a marshmallow, you have no STDs, you have a panel, you just got tested, still won't do you. Still won't do you. That's the power, the magic, the mirage, the spell that an attractive babe that you perceive attractive can do. So yeah, my sniz has all these infections and diseases that will give you, blemishes and make your penis burn. You won't be able to pee. It's going to peel. You might get HIV. You might, just no one's going to want to have contact with you, but you're hot. So I'll risk it. Damn. By the way, speaking of STDs, the best time to get an ST of all the holidays, I do believe, if you have to contract an STD or STI, 4th of July is the best holiday to get it. Or contract it, I should say. I will say. I just said. Hey, you line up all the holidays, the federal holidays. Now, I'm not doing religious holidays because I'm not cultured enough to do that. Just the big ones. Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, Easter, Memorial, Labor, 4th of July. I guess Juneteenth we're going to include too because that's a federal holiday. 4th of July is the best one. Because after the 4th of July, you go back to your real world, wherever you're going to. The day after 4th of July, back to normal. Can't say that for all the other holidays. Memorial Day, it's a very, honestly, you don't want to contract an STD Thanksgiving or the night before Thanksgiving. And obviously, Thanksgiving Day, you're hanging out with your family, your relatives, your friends. You're all together. You don't want to break out in a rash on your penis or your sniz. Or you don't want to have a burn when you pee or some type of discharge. You don't want that popping off during the Macy's Day Parade. You don't want that. That might be the worst holiday. Obviously, you don't want Christmas because it's the same scenario. You're with your family. You have to sit down. Open presents. How can you open presents when you have a scratch on your ball sack that won't go away? Or when there's a wart on your penis. You don't want that on Christmas. Memorial Day. It's the beginning of summer. Yeah, you don't want to start off the hot girl or hot Chad summer with an infection of your penis or your sniz. All right, Labor Day. Labor Day might be a good one too. Labor Day and 4th of July. Those are the Labor Day. Maybe Labor Day, yeah. I'm still going with 4th of July, though. Because you're probably more likely to fuck a stranger the weekend or the day before, the day of 4th of July than you are Labor Day weekend. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Those are the two winners. Now, you can make a case for either one. It's definitely not Thanksgiving. It's definitely not Christmas. But yeah, Labor Day, 4th of July. If you have to contract an STI, those are the two holidays you'll want to get that STD of all the holidays. Because after 4th of July, you just go back to your life. So you go to Planned Parenthood or, go to the clinic and get that taken care of. Yeah, because Thanksgiving and Labor Day, actually, yeah, because all the other holidays, like family and friends, linger. And the day after 4th of July, it tends to be, it's a quiet day. And now, obviously, the 4th of July, it actually depends on what day of the week it falls on. Because if the 4th of July is on a Thursday or on a Friday, it's really like an entire weekend party. So you might actually get the STD on a Saturday, which technically isn't the 4th of July, but it really is. Whereas what am I talking about? What the fuck am I talking about? All I'm saying is if you were forced to have to get an STD on a holiday, I would choose the 4th of July. What say you? I think I'm in the right. 4th of July. Yeah, you had about a month of summer, a little over a month of summer, all clean. Because after the 4th of July fireworks, that's the peak. That is the peak of summer, the 4th of July fireworks. So you got to the peak without an STI. The rest of the half, you have to deal with that. Man, I wish I didn't have morals. All right, moving forward. All right, this next one comes from the subreddit Mod Support. How to request to mod a sub that is a sister sub to the one I mine. Or mod, I should say. Question mark. Airbnb. Don't know what BNB stands for. All right, but I do know what Airbnb is. Okay, get to the post, B-man. Get to the post. Airbnb. I'm a moderator of the subreddit Airbnb hosts at the current time. We are pretty much sister subs with the subreddit Airbnb. I think there are 6 mods listed on Airbnb, but they are all inactive. I recall only ever seeing one mod interaction in the sub. They are basically non-existent. Since a lot of the hosts participate in both subs, it makes sense to have a moderator handle both subs for the continuity with issues. It would be really good. Learn how to read, B-man. It would be really good to have an active moderator. Since I spend so much time on both threads, retired, I would like to moderate Airbnb as well, the subreddit, that is. Can someone reach out to me and let me know if this is something I could sign up for? I see what you're doing. I don't like it. And I'm going to call you out. All right, let's play a little game that I think I know. Let me pose this question to you, the viewer, or the listener of Verbal Graffiti. And again, a tip on my penis for being here. And please share, like, subscribe. Tell somebody about Verbal Graffiti. All right, but this scenario, you rent an Airbnb, or you're looking to rent an Airbnb. Let's say Austin, Texas, because I was there one time in an Airbnb. So you're looking for a place to rent. You're going to let's say it's a bachelor party, or maybe it's you and your girlfriends. Girls' weekend, boys' weekend, whatever. It's you and your friends. You have a group of 7. So you're looking for a nice size house, and you find a house. Great price, great location, near downtown. Perfect. It's what you want. You do a little research. You scroll through all the rooms. There's a pool. There's a hot tub. Big screen TV. Nice kitchen. All right. And then down in the bottom, you see the person's contact information, and there's a link to his subreddit. And you link on the subreddit, and then you discover this gentleman is a moderator of the Airbnb subreddit. This is the question I pose you. Would you go forward and rent that Airbnb? Because I wouldn't. I would not. As soon as I noticed that, wow, the owner of this house, the one I'm going to have to sign a contract with, is a moderator on the Airbnb subreddit, that's a huge red flag. To me, that ding, 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 this guy's going to be, he's going to be blasting my asshole with emails. Every little thing there's going to be cameras all over. Any little piece of garbage that I don't pick up, he's going to ding me for. I could be the perfect tenant for that long weekend with my boys or your gals. And somehow there's going to be a surcharge of multiple hundreds of dollars, because that's the type of guy a moderator of a subreddit is. He's a rule follower. He's a dictator. He's not going to let you have fun for the weekend. He's going to be knocking on the door 9 in the morning. Hey, can I check something? Can I check the wash? Just so he can peek around to see what you're doing. He's going to be all up in your business, because that's who he is. That's who moderators on Reddit are. So although the room or the apartment or the house, it could be the perfect place, perfect location, the best price in the block. Personally, I'm not getting the house, because I don't want to deal with that dictator, that type of person. I don't want to sign into a contract with that guy. So I'd go another block, and I'd pay the house that's not as big, and maybe it's $150 more a day. I'm willing to pay that price, or to be a little further from downtown, to deal with a normal Airbnb host, if there is such a thing. And I don't think I'm out of school or out of pocket to make that decision. Am I wrong? Would you sign up for that? Would you sign up for an Airbnb knowing that the owner of that residence is the moderator of the Airbnb? I wouldn't. I want nothing to do with that guy. Honestly, after reading this post, I want nothing to do with the Airbnb or the Airbnb host subreddits. If you're a member of those, or you interact on those, I'd get the fuck out right now. Honestly, and first of all, and secondly, if there's no such thing as sister or brother subreddits, right? The Airbnb, I could be wrong, because I'm a hotel guy. I don't like Airbnbs. I would suspect, or my inclination in my ballsack that I feel tells me that the Airbnb subreddit is for people or Redditors who rent Airbnbs, and the Airbnb host subreddit is for the people who rent out their residence for however long. So those are like two separate subreddits. And even if they are similar, and I'm wrong with who goes in each subreddit, there are no genetics in Reddit. Therefore, you can't be related. And there's no sisters, there's no brothers. Those are two separate subreddits. And I see what you're doing. You're trying to get the iron fist. You're trying to invade another subreddit peacefully, justfully. This is almost like a treaty. You're saying, well, I'm the sub of I'm the moderator of a very similar subreddit, and that other subreddit, none of the moderators are active. Therefore, it makes sense that I should just waltz over into your property, into your subreddit, and become your moderator, your dictator. Why not? You're trying to sneak your way into being a moderator of 2 subreddits, which would double the moderating that you do. This is very similar, right, to Hitler, Alexander the Great, Napoleon, Julius Caesar. Did he take land? All these dictators who, I'll just take my neighboring country. Oh, we're the same culture. We speak the same language. It's kind of the same people, same religion. Of course we should. I'll treat you better. Let me take your land, your people. You'll like it. And then before you know it, we're in World War III. Well, the B-Man and nobody here at Verbal Graffiti wants to be in World War III. So get the fuck out of here. You ain't getting a second subreddit. Whatever your name is, you ain't getting it. And I'm going to go on those subreddits and make sure you don't. Because that's what you're trying to do. This is an invasion. This is an invasion of another subreddit. That's what it is. You can write it up. You can language, make it sound. You make it sound. I'm not intelligent enough to come up with a good word, but you're trying to do this peacefully. No, you're invading another subreddit. That should not be allowed. You should not be allowed to be the moderator on more than one subreddit. Once you want to be the moderator of a second subreddit, we need to flog you on public square. Whatever the public square of Reddit is, against the front page of Reddit, we need to flog you 15 times. So nobody else tries to do that. Because that cannot be allowed. There's no fucking way. Just knowing that you know how many moderators there are in that other Airbnb subreddit, that tells me you're coming for power. All right, this ain't about moderating. This isn't about the community. This is about power. This is about inflicting your will, your morals, your wants on just some, just regular people on Reddit. And I'm not going to allow for it. I ain't going to stand for it. You can't do this. The fact, who knows? Honestly, I'm asking you, the audience, how many of you know how many moderators there are on whatever subreddit you go to? I didn't know there was more than one. I thought every subreddit had one. The fact that you know the exact number of moderators on a subreddit, nah, your intentions are not pure. I have this theory. I may have said it a few times here. I'll say it again. I have a theory on the Supreme Court that goes like this. If you know, how does this theory go? How shall I say this? Okay. The theory goes like this. If you know, okay, so how, because there's multiple parts to this theory. All right. If you don't know how many people are on the Supreme Court, you're a dummy lollipop. All right. But conversely, if you know the name of every Supreme Court justice, you're an annoying cheese doodle. All right. You need to be somewhere between a dumb lollipop and an annoying cheese doodle to be a normal person that you would tolerate interacting with. All right. You should be able to know how many Supreme Court justices there are, but you shouldn't know all their names. But you should at least know that there are 9 on the court presently. All right. You need to be between the two spectrums. You're like, well, I know 9. I know the name of 2 or 3. Like, all right, I could tolerate you. But if you list all 9, you're all right, dude. Too much. You know too much about politics. Or if you don't know how many, it's like, dude, did you pass 7th grade? Yet, come on. Come on now. We have Google. We have AI. But it's the same thing. It's the same thing with this guy. He knows how many moderators there are on subreddits he goes to. Like, dude, you're way too in to the world of subreddits. Take a breather. Right? Stand up for air and take a breath. Touch grass, as they say. You're retired. I get it. You're bored. You feel as though you have no purpose? Reddit is not the place to go for purpose. Right? Go outside, volunteer. Go work at an animal shelter, a hospital, whatever hobby you have. Go work with people who do that hobby, with people. Go bowling. And you literally have the option of, hey, I'm retired. I can go bowling, or I could try to become a dictator on Reddit. And you're choosing Reddit? You ain't for me. You ain't for verbal graffiti. And I hope you get flogged. Or flogged, literally, where I can see, blood coming down your back. We can't have people like you in real world or on Reddit. Go suck a fat one.